Hello everybody who is watching this on YouTube and who is watching me live on Twitch as I'm recording this. Today we are talking about the new Ashcan Pete Parallel Investigator. That's right! The Parallel Investigators are back on the menu, which is super exciting. Parallel Investigators, well, not something that we cover often on the channel. I do think that overall, the Parallel Investigators are a great success, right? Parallel Skids was one of my favorite investigators last year. Parallel Agnes is really fun. Parallel Roland is chunky, but, you know, people like that kind of stuff, and there's a lot of cool things you can do with him. Parallel Wendy is very strong, and Parallel Daisy is there too. No, Parallel Daisy is fun. I had fun playing Parallel Daisy. But now, we're looking at some new Parallel Investigators, and the first one they released was Ashcan Pete. So I actually know, I have not read these cards. I like to do this with you for the first time, so why don't we dive in and read the announcement article, check out the cards, and kind of just give some general thoughts on our good friend Ashcan Pete. Alright, on the road again. Check out this preview of the next Parallel Investigator for Arkham Horror the card game presented by designer Nick Corey. You've been on the road for as long as you can remember, always moving from one place to another. As you make your camp in the woods outside of Arkham, you can't shake the feeling that you've somehow been here before. Not just in the woods, but in this exact moment. You look to your side as if you expected to see a companion there, a loyal hound perhaps, but you only see your guitar, worn but reliable. Duke's dead because I ate him last week. Signed to nobody but yourself, you begin to settle in for another restless night. The veil once again grows thin, giving us a peek into the Arkham that could have been. We're excited to announce the return to Parallel Investigators. This time, we get a look at Parallel Ashcan Pete with a brand new set of signatures. Ashcan Pete, Parallel Investigators 46, has been a fan-favorite investigator since Arkham Horror the board game's 2nd edition. That's the truth. Parallel Pete is a master of his environment, making the most of the resources available to him. Set traps, lay ambushes, and find shortcuts. Let's go! I now see what Beard was saying, that this whole flavor of Ashcan Pete kind of seems to step on the toes of Wilson Richards. If it's all about setting traps, laying ambush, and finding shortcuts. And when one of his cards that is attached to a scenario card, like a location or an enemy, is discarded from play, Pete can return it to his hand instead, getting ready to attach that same card again later. Seems cool. Eating Duke is canon. Yeah, Eating Duke last Friday made it so that we started a new split in the realities. Okay. Ashcan Pete, the Drifter. 4-book, 2-fist, 3-fist. Sorry, 2-book. Oh my god, I start from the top again. I just woke up, and I'm a mess apparently. 4-brain, 2-book, 3-fist, 3-foot. You begin the game with Pete's guitar in play. He soaks for 7 and 7. Come here, boy, we got work to do. It's really funny to imagine him saying that to his to his guitar instead of Duke. You know, he's like, come here, boy, we got work to do. Anyway, here's Wonderwall. Now maybe. All right. So you begin the game with Pete's guitar in play. As a reaction, when a card you own that is attached to a scenario card would be discarded, add it to your hand instead. Limit once per round. That's really good. Scenario cards, as we know, are like enemies, are locations, are act agendas, are treacheries in play. I'm pretty sure are scenario cards. So when a card would be discarded, you attach it to your hand instead. Seems, I mean, that's like really good. You just get to basically. There's a thing that we always liked, but that I always talk about with Silas and Amanda especially. Anytime you can play your cards multiple times, or don't lose your cards. This is another one. Is Parallel Agnes, right? Anytime you can recur your cards and play them multiple times, that's really good. Yes, and locations are scenario cards. Yeah. All right. Elder Sign Effect +1. Choose a card you own attached to a scenario card. You may return the chosen card to your hand. Okay, so pretty minor Elder Sign Effect, but it's certainly not bad. It's certainly not bad, but it seems kind of minor. All right. With his loyal dog Duke by his side, Pete is I mean, I guess, yeah, so that one actually, if you're talking about Map the Area, this actually, the Elder Sign Effect works with Map the Area. Seems cool. I assume with you saying map the area, there is the fact that Ashcan Pete can even play map the area. We'll get to that. With this loyal, is there no card back? Is there no card back that's next? Oh, okay. I gotta find the actual files at the bottom. 1 second. Give me a second, YouTube. Okay. Let's read his card back before we get in any deeper, because the next thing they talk about is the guitar. Really strange for them to not show the card back in the announcement article, but that's okay. Alright. Survivor cards. Deck size 30. Deck building options. Survivor cards 0 to 3. So he loses the 4 and 5 Survivor. Woe is him. Improvised and tactic cards level 0 to 4. Neutral 0 to 5. And up to 5 other Guardian cards level 0. That is some wild deck building. That is some wild deck building there. I love the hell out of that. Deck building requirements. Duke, racked by nightmares, 1 random basic weakness. It says Duke here. I think it says the Duke and racked by nightmares is because these new weaknesses follow replacement cards. It follows like the... they're not advanced signatures, they're replacements. So you actually can you can just add them or switch them. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I could be crazy. Let's go back to the article and see what they say. All right. With his loyal dog Duke by his side, Pete has wandered into and out of many great stories of mystery and terror. With Ashcan getting the parallel treatment, how do you improve on the already best of good boys Duke? The answer to that question is, of course, you can't. Amen. Long live the dog. Instead, we decided to introduce an entirely new set of replacement signatures. Just like replacement signatures first introduced in the line of Arkham Horror novellas, this new signature asset and weakness can replace the existing signature in Pete's deck building requirements, or they can be included alongside the originals. So yeah, exactly as I posited. With Pete's guitar, Ashcan, you can use it to help direct enemies, luring them into his trap-laden locations or away from vulnerable allies. All right, let's see this. And remember, with Parallel Pete, this all starts in play, the guitar. So it's like Duke. All right. Lightning Bolt. Exhaust Pete's guitar. Choose a non-elite enemy at your location or connecting location. Move that enemy once in the direction of your choice. If there are no enemies at your location, either heal a horror or gain a resource. That's really good. That's very powerful. Wow. This card's insane. This card's so good. And you start with it in play? Oh my god. That's very powerful. Holy hell. Now, you don't get to use it if there are no enemies, right? Because you need to choose an non-elite enemy to do it, right? Because if you can't choose a non-elite enemy, you don't get the then after. So it's not just free resources or horror every turn. You actually need to be able to choose an enemy to trigger Pete's guitar, because it is a then comma. Because if you can't do the first thing, you don't do the next thing. So that does mean you don't just get resources each turn. However, with his wide option of deck building, I imagine there's a lot of tricks that you can do to just have an enemy always be there. I kind of like the idea here. 1 second. I kind of like the idea of on the hunting an enemy, or even on the hunting the enemy 3, and then just sending that enemy away. You draw it and you're like, you know what? You actually can just screw off, right? It seems really good, and you actually can play the upgraded version, too. That seems kind of fun. You know, you get the enemy. Oh, then he can play Kicking the Hornet's Nest, can he? It is a tactic. So he could play Kicking the Hornet's Nest, discover a clue, gain X resources, and then kick the enemy out of there. That seems really fun, too. And just be like, thank you for the free horror healing. Wow! That's so good! And yeah, the notable as well is that his stats are actually different. He does have the extra fist here because he's designed to fight things. This is more of a combat focused. I love it. I think it's very fun. I think it's great. Let's just keep reading. Then after doing so, if there are no enemies in his location, he may heal a horror or gain a resource. Additionally, if you're playing with the front side of Parallel Ashcan Pete, and you're including the guitar in your deck, you get to start with it and play. Let's go. But things aren't always so easy for Ashcan Pete, are they? And this holds true for his Parallel version. His replacement signature weakness, Hard Times, keeps his options limited. Alright, let's see Hard Times. Alright. Revelation. Put Hard Times into play in your threat area. Forced. After you draw one or more cards, choose and discard that many cards from hand. Double action discard. Okay, pretty simple. You add it to your hand. You don't draw it. I wish that this was after you add or draw one or more cards, right? It really should be add or draw, right? I feel like that makes the most sense, right? They feasibly could patch it. This guy is patchable. Yeah, the weakness doesn't it eats your draw each turn, right? So you don't once in play you can't really ignore it, because you're gonna lose cards. You could say in theory you're gonna keep gaining cards with his ability, you're gonna there, but you don't actually you're not gaining new cards from your deck. So it's not strong, and it's certainly not even scary, but it is annoying, and you are going to want to get rid of it, you know? You are going to want, this basically is just, it's like Racked by Nightmares, right? It's just going to be eating your draw each turn. And it's just going to you're going to just want to get rid of it. So it's just their time will come when you'll just be okay, it's time to double action, get rid of this. All right, well, Hard Times in play. If he threat area, is forced to discard a card from hand anytime he draws one or more cards. I mean, that is sick. I do wish it was draw or add. I think it would add a little bit more spice. I mean, also, realistically, what I do wish was that all of these effects just said draw. Oh, that's upside down. He's Parallel Upside Down Pete. Was that these cards just said draw it into your hand. It would just be so much easier, right, if it was all just draw. But I love it. I think this is really cool. And I'm going to enjoy trying to, build around this guy. Because, I'm just kind of curious. Let's search tactics. I can spell. Alright. Just give me my scan. We're looking for stuff that attaches. I mean, I can filter my search deeper to do it. Ambush, attach your location. After enemy spawns, attach location. Deal 2 damage to that enemy and discard ambush. That seems kind of fun, doesn't it? That seems kind of fun. Barricade. Yeah, I saw people talking a lot about barricade. That does make sense, right? Just keep getting your barricades back. Breach the door. He works well with his ability. Bolus. Trip a guy, then kill him. Grievous Wound. I know some people are already saying that. Pardon? Pardon? Oh, scenario card. Okay, we're not scenario cards. Okay, that's good. We're not scenario cards. We got there. We got there. Grievous Wound with his guitar is actually kind of good. Yeah, no, definitely. I think I've already played Grievous Wounds this year. Otherwise, we'd have a good reason to play it with him. Yeah. I love it. Hiding spots. People are talking about this. The attach any location. Each non-elite enemy attached location gains aloof for the enemy phase. If a ready enemy is attached location, discard hiding spot. Yeah, it seems like, I mean, all of these now go up in value, right? All of these kind of just go up in value as we get deeper into it. I like the On the Hunt and King in the Hornet's Nest. Those are probably my favorite versions of this right now. Oh, you can play Practice Makes Perfect, huh? You can play Practice Makes Perfect. 1 in the chamber? Okay. Gun Pete? Gun Ashcan Pete? Wild. Alright, and then we can look up Improvise, too. I want to just see what other stuff jumps out. Lure with his guitar is insane? Yeah. Definitely. There's only 6 improvised cards, huh? There's only 6 of these, huh? And they're all red, huh? Alright, never mind. That's boring. That's boring. Okay. We've got work to do. More so than any other Parallel Investigator previously released, Ashcan Pete gives players the most options for customizing your play experience. You can run any combination of Parallel and original front and back for Ashcan, and on top of that you can include either his original signatures, his replacement signatures, or both! If you want to try out the Parallel version, you can download the cards, and the rules insert, da-da-da-da-da. Look for new Parallel Investigators in the coming months! Let's go! Let's go! 87 cards from Tactics, lots of options, yeah, definitely. So things I like. Let's go back to Ashcan Pete. Things I like is that you can still play Duke, and then you just get to play Duke on top of things. I still think that's a pretty good combination of stuff. You can also just play normal Ashcan Pete and just include the replacements. You can just include his guitar in the deck, which is really cool. I think that's awesome. I think that's really awesome. I think this is a fun investigator, and I'm excited to play him. I'm very excited to play him. This seems really strong. I'm excited to see it in action. Will this be available to purchase official versions like the others? Currently, no. As far as we know from Game Center, there is no plans of such a thing. That like the agreement that FFG and Game Center had is no more. So don't expect this guy to actually be officially there. Just playing. If you play a Parallel front, include Duke, the guitar would start in play, and Duke would be in your deck. Yes, that is as far as I know. Yes, that is how it would work. Notably, Pete's guitar, he gets to play it psychically. He's like Daryl Simmons with his camera, right? So, like, he just, like, it's just floating next to him, and, like, he's strumming it without touching it. So your hand slots aren't even full, which is crazy. Flavor dissonance, yes. Mechanical, I think it's better that way, right? Because if this took up both of your hand slots, it's probably not the way to go, right? Survive, yeah. His stand is playing it for him. Exactly. His stand is his knee. He's actually just holding it like this everywhere he goes. The link to this article is in the YouTube description if you wanted to check this out and play it. Other than that, yeah, that's the new Parallel Ashcan Pete. I think he's awesome. I'm excited to dive into him. I think he's like not overly complicated either. I think his gameplay loop is relatively simple, and I do like that because he starts with Pete's guitar in play, it still feels very much like Ashcan Pete, which is having your signature in play from turn 0, which I think is awesome. I think it's great. I'm excited to play it. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you also are looking forward to playing Ashcan Pete and saying maybe, fingers crossed, Parallel Gym one day. Fingers frickin' crossed. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Have a good one, and as always, a GG's.